Okay, there we go. Much better. Hi. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Did not realize that I had a game still up on my PS4 and that I had my PS4 showing. It wasn't supposed to be that way. So hi, people. What few have shown up? God, wow, it's pretty bad. Um, well, if you don't mind, I'm gonna kind of be doing this by the seat of my pants because I couldn't get anybody to show up. Uh, uh, I at least know what's up with Fel. Fel is at a convention. He's working at a convention right now. No idea where Eva went. She's completely MIA. So, it's just me all by myself for episode 4. How you guys doing? Mm. How you guys doing? Todd Howard. That's very funny. I doubt it's the actual Todd Howard, but that's still very funny. Uh, uh, Okay, so that's a thing that I'll have to look into in a bit. Good lord. Sign in with YouTube. That's good stuff. So solo anime and stuff. Yeah, this is gonna be very interesting. Gonna be super interesting. Waiting on a couple of things. First off, let's see if we can fix the YouTube views thing, real quick. Properties, refresh. Okay. Oh, that's because okay. Let's remove that. Yeah. Let's remove. Let's go ahead and remove this one too. Yes. Okay. There we go. And then let's. Where's this? Oh God, YouTube chat. I'm having to fix some stuff on the fly because. Okay. Okay. Bam. There we go. There's that. And that goes here. Now let's fix this real quick. Properties. Refresh the cache. Okay, cool. Cool. Alright, there we go. Much better. There. Go to dashboard. Okay, cool. Okay, let's copy that. Add browser. Oh, is it really? Where? Uh huh. Okay. Bam. There's that. All right, so give me a second, guys. Like I said, normally we have more time to. I have a lot more time to actually go through and in pre-planning and everything to kind of get stuff together for an episode. But I spent a lot of time just trying to get everyone, just trying to find out if anybody was going to be on and waiting on responses. So, mm, yeah. Oh God. So there's a lot going on. Oh, goodness gracious. Um. Uh-huh. Oh, that's probably my mom doing something yet again. She's been sending me. Yeah, she's been sending nothing but messages since they're on vacation. Oh, she sent the same thing twice. Good to know. So I'm looking for. I'm just going through and trying to find images of people. Uh, okay. What's her name? I'm trying to remember the chick's name. Okay. Ikumi Nakamura. Damn it. Okay, there we go. Oh, man. So much is going on. I'm trying to find. Aha! Yes! Good boy. The good boy of E3. That's what I'm looking up right now. I'm looking up the good boy of E3. Oh no! You're not that late, Spider. So yeah, I'm having to set everything up immediately. And so this time I'm just finding images because I just don't feel like doing any of the other stuff. I'm not gonna screen share this time. I'm just like, okay, all right, let's save some stuff. Abridged anime. Nope, not Ace of Diamond. Anime and stuff. Thank you. Episode 4. Let's go to that. I'm just getting a couple of things finished here. Oh, come on, save. There we go. Don't be a jerk. Okay, there we go. Okay, open that image and then save this image and then yay. Okay, my computer's being a little bit slow. Apologies. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Uh time to laundry while listening to me. I don't know if I'm entertaining enough to go against laundry, but that's cool. Thank you. Um oh yeah, there's that. I got to talk about that. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, open image. There we go. Save. Just gonna save it like that. All right. Cool. That's another thing. And oh boy. Yeah, we get to talk about some anime at this time. Like, there's legit anime in anime news and anime and stuff. So that's gonna be fun. Uh, doesn't look like it's overly positive, but we'll figure shit out. We'll work shit out. Alrighty. It's not a lot of stuff unless you guys have stuff that you want to talk about with me. But as far as like the stuff that I actually have images for, I finalized that, and I don't have links for it at the moment. I'm just gonna suggest that you look it up. That's about as helpful as I'm gonna be able to be. Oh goodness. Okay, so oh no, let me go to. Okay, I'm gonna upload a file, and I'm gonna go to. Let me go to abridged. Stop it, Toby. Getting Snoopy. Toby, getting Snoopy, please, buddy. No, Snoopy. Not. Yes, I will scratch and pet your head. Now getting Snoopy. Getting Snoopy. Go. Go in, Snoopy. Good boy. Good boy. All right. Anime and stuff. Episode 4. Let's start with the big one. Yep. That's the big one right there. Okay. Oh, buddy. Okay. There. There we go. Okay. Oof. So, why not start off with EA? Oh, EA. Oh, EA. How you make my job writing for Log Horizon Abridged so much easier every time I'm getting ready to write a new episode. So EA went in front of the British Parliament to talk about addiction in gaming and gambling and things like that. And when confronted about loot boxes, they called it surprise mechanics instead, trying to hide it. They're like, we don't market loot boxes. We don't call it loot boxes. Legitimately, less than just 3 months ago, not even that, I'd say less than 2, you straight out put out marketing stuff for the new Star Wars game, Jedi Fallen Order, and it legit said no loot boxes in that. You were literally using that as a marketing point, saying no loot boxes. You don't get to suddenly change it just because you want to get away with things legally. Go fuck yourself. I have a lot more gaming stuff to talk about, but This one, man, you make it so easy to pick on you. I really, to be fair, as much as I'm gonna hate like the whole thing of like BioWare going under and no, there's a lot of bias there. Bethesda's about the same. There's not that much of a difference between EA and Bethesda at this point. And currently, they're on the same level. Mm, at least in my head. Um, you don't get to say Bethesda's better after Fallout 76, bro. No, you don't. Uh, Activision's not any better either. Like oh my god. We can talk about the Activision nightmare as time goes on, but oh my god, EA, like you can't even take one step forward. They're so set on just constantly taking steps backwards. By a red dot. Hey, what's up, Colton? So we're talking about EA's bullshit and all its lies. Um, let's see. I don't. I don't even know where to start with this. Um. So. Essentially, no. Leave me alone. Okay, so. Carrie Hopkins was the bitch that said this, by the way. She was the one that called it surprise mechanics, and they're referring it to like Kinder eggs and other shit like that. And I'm like the surprise boxes at toy stores, and a lot of those are considered illegal as well. Like, at this point, I think EA needs to just go under. Like, I really want all their sports stuff to fail, and they just need to go under. No, not EA did an oopsie. EA just straight out lied. So they were at a uh so Carrie Hopkins, the vice president, legal and government affairs, were sent to represent Electronic Arts, while the director of marketing were sent to rep Epic Games, or were sent to the Matthew Weissner, the director of marketing, and Ken Pence, general counsel, were sent to rep Epic Games. So Epic Games and EA were both in front of a hearing in the UK for in front of the Parliament. And while some of the questions asked were about like digital culture and media and sport committee, we're a little bit on the point. We're a little bit pointless, and let's be fair, not many of these politicians are gamers, so they wouldn't understand that. But then, of course, they got to the subject of freaking loot boxes. So EA and Epic failed to acknowledge the or tried to or failed very hard at trying not to acknowledge the whole loot box thing. Classifying the gaming disorder as a disease was part of what was being talked about. But wait, Carrie Hopkins from Electronic Arts stepped in to say, we don't call them loot boxes, we call them surprise mechanics. Like Kinder eggs, Hopkins said. People like surprises, she continued. We do think the way that we've implemented these kind of mechanics is quite ethical and quite fun. They aren't gambling, and we disagree that there's evidence that shows that they lead to gambling. You are They are perpetrating a endless loop of trying to get people to buy. You're telling me that as a company, there is no one sitting there thinking, man, we should make this fun so that people continue to spend money. That's a terrible fucking marketing strategy if you don't have something there to keep bringing people back in to have to continuously buy your loot boxes. If your loot boxes don't have some sort of like addictive quality to them, then you're doing it wrong just from a marketing standpoint. Um, but we move on. Uh, if this hearing needed a further hook for a headline, that was it. Video game reporters across the globe rub their hands with glee. How could EA be so naive as to call loot boxes, at least in public at least, surprise mechanics? Well, there sure is an element of surprise when it comes to loot boxes. Surprise! You spent $10,000 on them in FIFA. How about that? So, I'm hoping that you guys can't hear my neighbors. Epic's Pence, who came away from the grilling perhaps most bruised, said at one point it was inaccurate to define Epic as a company that makes money from people playing its games. I suppose all those Epic Games Store exclusives were funded by charitable donations then. Like, there's a lot of sassiness that can be thrown at these two companies for how they handled this. It was pretty effing bad. Welcome to a new form of idiocy. Synonyms apparently mean different meaning. Yeah, yeah. Sports games are a scam. They're the same game over and over. And they release a new one every year with slight, minuscule updates. Did it. Oops. Only enough to tell you have neighbors. So Richie is part of society. Dang. I have neighbors. That's all you need to know. Yeah. Uh... And guys, while it is kind of easy to laugh at this shit, it is part of a wave of serious actual scrutiny that is going over the video game industry. And there's danger that if authorities believe self-regulation isn't working, actual regulation may be necessary. So, I mean, it could change. It could turn the gaming industry upside down, and we'll see how things go. There is another bit of gaming news that I've got going on here. Let me go ahead and get that. This is going to be interesting, whether you love him or whether you hate him. He talked about it. He talked about an interesting bit of gaming news going on this week. So, yeah. Oh, let me get this logo over here. Okay, there we go. So, hey guys, Bernie Sanders made gaming news this week. Yeah. Old Grandpa Bernie talked about something related to gaming news. Gaming will feel the burn. And actually, before anybody jumps down my throat for putting Bernie Sanders on here, there's a real legit reason. And I actually, in this case, very much agree with what he's saying. For those of you that sat down and read the full article that was put out about how about a lot of the problems with Anthem, or you know somebody that works in the gaming industry that is a developer, and you know how stressful of a job that can be, and like that BioWare magic thing that they talked about, where crunch time comes in and you could be working over 100 hours a week with no overtime, and you're just a shell of a human being at that point. That shit is kind of unethical. And I don't know how you guys feel, but me as a gamer, I feel like, look, man, I would rather that they take their time and make a full quality content game instead of rushing to get something out the door by a specific date, and make sure that you have a good finished product and that you're able to actually take your time and work out the bugs and things like that. That's part of it. And I think that I think that developers deserve a lot of the same stuff as everybody else in any other job. So Bernie is supporting developers' rights to form a union in order to get overtime pay, better treatment, just general things that we take for granted, like, hey, if I'm working over X amount of hours, I get overtime, so that game developers are not treated as almost slave labor towards the end. Crushed by a deadline as Fel. No, not at all. No, I'm not that mean to Fel. But guys, but that's essentially what he's talking about. Is he was in the news for talking about how crushing uh, a lot of studios and higher ups at game dev studios, or at different studios like Activision, EA, things like that, can be to rank and file members of the development team. And as somebody who plays online services games like Destiny, like, I understand how that's got to be crushing towards Bungie as well, especially when they were under Activision. I don't know what the difference is now that they've gone independent, but yeah, man, that's something that I can really, really get behind, and I'm glad that Bernie is kind of raising this issue, and he is. Bernie's always been kind of pro-union to begin with, but this is definitely an area where I think a union could benefit, and it might mean that game prices go up more, but I'm willing to pay a little bit more to make sure that the people that work on these games don't end up having to suffer from PTSD, because that's a thing that actually happens. There are people in the gaming community that are worried about quitting their jobs because they think it's they think it's like some almost barely or attainable privilege that they've gotten this job that they'll never get a chance to do. And I'm like, there's so much that I could go over, and I'd need another person here to chat with and bounce talking points off of. But essentially, does the radio and broadcast industry have these unions? Yeah, actually, yeah. I need to do some more research on that. Agreed, burnout is definitely a thing. Huge, huge thing. But it's so weird that, I have friends that are in the military that have PTSD that is equal to the amount of PTSD some game devs leave the freaking thing with. It's just ridiculous. It leave the workforce with, sorry. But a lot of these people, they not only are they overworked and overstressed, but they're broken down as people a lot of the time. And you can kind of see that in a way sometimes when game devs will lash out at the community. I mean, the community's not known for being overly, or at least the loudest people in the community are not known to be overly forgiving towards devs. But devs are people too, man. And at the end of the day, I think they deserve to have a union to look out for them. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm curious to hear what yours is, so let me know in the chat what you guys think. I'd love to get this going. Little dialogue in the chat back and forth. Alrighty. Next thing up. Oh my god. Let's move to some good gaming news from all this bad gaming news that happened. E3 happened. And let's talk about, there were 4 winners. Let's talk about the first 3 winners. The first 3 winners of the E3 extravaganza. Bam Bam the dog, Keanu Reeves, and Ikumi Nakamura. If you did not hear about these 3, they were the best. Like, the only reason I gave a shit about... all right, there's only 2 reasons I really gave a shit about Ubisoft, and one was Bam Bam the dog. I'm not big on much of the like the Tom Clancy Ubisoft stuff, with the exception of like The Division, because I feel like The Division is a different take on Destiny, but with like kind of a... I don't want to say Call of Duty, because it's not quite that, but it's like, it's Tom Clancy's Destiny. If they put the Tom Clancy skin on Destiny and changed a couple of things over, it's very much like that. Yeah. What do you think? I don't have any, like, we barely covered Stadia stuff. I don't have an opinion yet, because I'm more of a wait and see on Stadia. Like it sounds cool in theory, but I've been duped before. So yeah, if Call of Duty were good, yeah, if Call of Duty were good, it would be the Division. Uh, uh, I heard about the other two, but not the dog. Oh, the dog. No, okay. So this was the coolest thing, right? What's his name? The guy that plays the Punisher. He's in one of the he's in one of the like I think it's like Rainbow Siege or something like that. But he's one of the games, and he came out to talk about the game, and he brought his dog out on the stage, and the puppy, totally stole the show, totally. All right, then we had before that we had Cyberpunk 2077, which if you've seen any of the stuff that they put out over the last 2 years, you would already be super fucking hyped for this game. I mean, super super fucking hyped for this game. And then they go and reveal that Keanu Reeves is in the game, and then he comes out to actually talk about the game. And then, of course, the meme that is running around the internet is like he's talking about the game, and he says that, you know, walking around and seeing all the sights and actually, you know, taking part in it is truly breathtaking. And then someone in the crowd yells, "You're breathtaking!" And of course, Keanu Reeves, he can't take a compliment because he's such a humble dude. He's such just a cool, humble dude. And he like gets red and he covers his face a little bit, and then he goes, "You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking." And it's just like one of the sweetest, most warm-hearted. He is the internet's boyfriend, essentially. And then Keanu is your Patronus. I like that. I like that. I hereby state that you should put that on Twitter. Keanu Reeves is my Patronus. Tag him if he has a Twitter. I don't know. I see two good boys. There are two good boys and one good girl up there. And then finally the Bethesda conference, which honestly should have just been just 1 hour of Bethesda apologizing for Fallout 76. But I guess they had some other bullshit that they had to put out there. Ghostwire is the only thing that I actually remember from the Bethesda conference, and it's because of Ikumi Nakamura, this girl here. She is adorbs. One is loving being who deserves nothing. One is a loving being who deserves nothing but hugs, and the other is a doggo. That is super true. That is very very super true. Okay, so I'm gonna switch over. Ikumi Nakamura, she just straight out stole the show with just her adorbsness, like pure unabashed adorableness. She's she's actually introducing a spooky game in which people in Tokyo are disappearing. There were a lot of people that were saying, "Oh my god, it's like Thanos' snap." In a way, it kind of is, but people are vanishing and no one knows why. So it's your job to find out why people are disappearing. You have to investigate, find out if it's just a natural event or if it's part of the occult. And it's a pretty cool concept, and the game itself looked kind of cool. But she ended up winning E3 because she came in. You could tell that she was kind of like bashful, and she was like, you know, her first time standing up in front of this audience, and she's not really used to speaking in English. But, you know, she gives it her best shot, and she's super positive about this. And she was like, it was for the Bethesda conference, this was straight out a breath of fresh air that the conference needed, and unfortunately it was the only breath of fresh air that Bethesda really had. But she was adorable, so much so, in fact, that the internet has basically deemed this girl best girl of E3. And there is actually, where is it the internet has made fan art of her. They also dubbed her best dress of E3 because they liked her outfit, I guess. But yeah, there we go. They made fan art of her because why the heck not, man? Why the heck not? And of course, the fourth winner of E3 is, of course, Nintendo. Nintendo actually won E3 with the amount of games that they talked about, and then out of nowhere they freaking dropped a bombshell on us. I mean, a giant freaking bombshell on us. So, officially confirmed by Nintendo, Breath of the Wild 2 is in development. So, there was a lot of, oh my god, so much Rule 34. Please no. Please no. Ikumi Nakamura doesn't need to be Rule 34'd. Oh god, you know she's already up there. Alright, anyway. Alright, a female Keanu Reeves. Oh, good lord. So, yeah, Breath of the Wild 2 got announced. As you guys know, I was streaming Breath of the Wild a couple of months back, and holy crap, man. Oh, about Sword and Shield, Pokemon. Yeah, that's forever gonna be Rule 34'd. I've given up on just being like, don't mood Pokemon. It's just too late. It's gonna happen. There's nothing we can do about it. That ship has sailed. We cannot stop it. It's going over the edge now. But yeah, they officially announced it. Some of the cool stuff is, looks like they are actually exploring a dungeon underneath, a labyrinth type dungeon, hopefully, underneath Hyrule Castle, and they have discovered what looks to be the corpse of Ganon, like Ganon himself, because we did not actually fight Ganon in Breath of the Wild. We fought the malice of Ganon, and it appears that the malice is actually leaking out from Ganon, based on what little information we know about this trailer. And there was a lot of Zelda stuff that happened in the conference. An update to Link's Awakening, and then there was freaking Cadence of Hyrule, which I already have the soundtrack for because that shit is amazing. Ship, you mean Floating Fortress City, right? No, this isn't Final Fantasy VIII. We're not taking off just yet. Hoping it won't be an Elder Scroll game. Ooh, well, a never-ending quest of solitude. Well, I mean, what's really cool is it definitely is taking place after Breath of the Wild 2, and Zelda's looks to be in it a lot more. I'm really interested. I'm wondering if they already had this story kind of in place, and they actually had to cut the story in half, and in order to put things out this way. But I really, really like the idea that the turnaround this time may not be, for this game coming out, won't be nearly as long as the first time that they showed a clip for Breath of the Wild to when Breath of the Wild was released. I'm at a con, but yes, Fel, I told them you were at a con. It's just me, though. But it's been a while, but hopefully it won't be nearly as long as the time between when Breath of the Wild was announced, or at least the first footage was shown, to when the game actually came out, because they're basically running the same engine. So, I mean, with Breath of the Wild, they had to create a brand new game engine, and now they already have the engine, so it should not take as much long to get this game out as it did the first one. So I'm also hoping that this definitely becomes like, in a way yes, and also in a way no. But I hope that this is like kind of the Majora's Mask to Ocarina of Time. Even though I think that I didn't like Majora's Mask nearly as much as I liked Ocarina, but I like the kind of the mild horror vibe that, or the spooky vibe that was going on with the trailer. Really enjoyed that. What are your thoughts? What are your impressions? There's already a lot of fan theories out there. I tend to agree with the theory that this Ganon that we're seeing here is the Ganon from Twilight Princess. So let me know what your theories are about this, if you have them. And are you as hyped as I am? Because I'm super freaking hyped. Alrighty. So those were the big winners from E3 this year. And moving on to the next topic of discussion. Oh boy, are you guys? Oh no, there's one more E3 thing. I apologize. I apologize. I'm actually looking forward to Grandma Theft Auto. That's what I'm calling it because I think it's funny that way. Grandma Theft Auto. but but essentially there is the one of the really cool games that was being talked about at Ubisoft was Watch Dogs. Now I played the first one. I do believe I broadcast this one even though I had to delete it, but I did play the first Watch Dogs. I felt disappointed because it didn't feel like anything that was in the trailer for the first Watch Dogs, and I felt like we got cheated a little bit. It definitely felt a little Grand Theft Auto-ish. But I like the concept behind this one of actually playing as multiple characters. Yeah, Grandma Dog. But you could play as an old lady who's an ex-assassin and just go in and just beat the shit out of people with a fucking old lady. I love that concept. That's hilarious. Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and all of older games. While I like the world, I'm bad with open quest, open worlds. Yeah, I mean, if they could, the thing that I felt was really lacking from Breath of the Wild was a concrete story, and in order to do the open world the way that they wanted, I felt like they just kind of set story aside. And while I really loved what we got there, and there were some interesting story elements, I would have liked if it had gotten explored more. I felt like we didn't get to explore the story enough. And so, yeah, I felt really kind of bummed about the fact that we didn't have much of a story there. And so I'm hoping that this time around we'll get a lot more story, and that'll be cool. Do you use your handbag? Hell yeah, you use your handbag. All right. Uh on to the next story. This is not going to be a very long apologies guys. This is not going to be a very long one, I don't believe. Oh, dang. When I meant to use this image when I was talking about developers going through stress in the workplace. All right, there's our random image of stressful game devs. My bad. All right, so on to actual anime related news. The new Evangelion came out on Netflix, and people are not fans, and I can understand why. It was completely redubbed, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I'm like, nobody even bothered to get a hold of the old cast. They took Fly Me to the Moon is not even in there. Like, that's gone, which makes no sense because every single one of those versions was a cover of Fly Me to the Moon. So they could have easily afforded it because it's easy to pay for a cover. Just like the new Link design, more Twilight Princess in design. Oh. But yeah, I think that some of the biggest complaints were that lines were changed around and the impact of a lot of the lines is just gone. People had their preferences of voices and they don't have an option to do the dub. I can't remember if the original dub is now owned by Funimation, because I think that Funimation is doing the Evangelion movies like 1.11, 2.22, 3.33, all that stuff. I think that Funimation is in those. Also, I think that... and here's the thing that I find really funny. They changed love to like with Kaoru talking to Shinji. Because it's the original series and the two movies. ADV was the original dub company, but when ADV went under, either Sentai... Because ADV... or Sentai was ADV, but, I mean, I think Funimation may have grabbed it up. I don't know. It's either Sentai or Funimation that owns it. I'll look it up in a second. But actually, I'm just gonna look it up right now. um, okay. This is gonna be like who owns um, the rights to Evangelion? Yeah. Uh, why Netflix cut Fly Me to the Moon? Oh, so there's a reason that they did it. The redub version of the cult classic 90s anime series Neon Genesis Evangelion hit Netflix on Friday, but as many fans quickly noticed, its iconic Fly Me to the Moon outro wasn't along for the ride, at least not in all territories. What? Instead of hearing karaoke style covers of the Frank Sinatra hit, which is what was originally used for the series' closing credits, US subscribers were treated to a piano version of another track from the show's score. Fly Me to the Moon was also replaced in other parts of episodes where it was originally included as the background music. However, Twitter users noted that this change isn't universal, as Netflix Japan's version of Neon Genesis Evangelion does have the original outro music. Okay, what? So why was it cut from the US English dub version, and why isn't that cut consistent across the board? The simple answer is licensing fees. An individual with knowledge of the production told Rap that Netflix worked with Gainax, the Japanese studio that made the original anime series, when licensing the 26-episode show for its new English language voice cast version. Fly Me to the Moon was among a few select assets the streaming service was unable to obtain for all regions due to the way the song was priced for global rights. Netflix did not immediately respond to the Rap's request. Okay. In 2018, Netflix announced its plans to stream Burstager or Burst Tiger. Thank you so much for the sub. Please enjoy your nibbles. Who was the original? ADV was the original dub company. We won't forget. So they redubbed the entire series plus Death and Rebirth and End of Evangelion, and that music is gone unless you're watching it in Japan. Funny thing is, the Japanese Fly Me on the Japanese Netflix Fly Me to the Moon is there. Definitely must be a copyright issue. Yeah. I also don't like Netflix will spend $100 million to license Friends, but says that licensing the song Fly Me to the Moon for Evangelion was too much. Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Copy image. I'm doing that. Ah man, I'm saving that image. Okay, open image in a new. Yeah. Save. Okay, that's much better. That's much better. Oh goodness, that's a funny image that I am going to be sharing with you guys in just a moment. Oh jeez. Okay, so. Ah jeez, Rick. Ah jeez. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, Shinji is not very happy with this shit. A little Pulp Fiction to make our days a little bit better. But yeah, it's okay if you didn't watch Evangelion. But like there wasn't really a reason to redub the cast, as far as I understand. Shinji Usaka in the robot. Like some of the oh my god, people went off on Twitter. It was kind of fun to watch. Like the salt was real. Like Tony could only wish he achieved that level of salt, but that salt was real. And so probably my favorite quote from this so far is one person saying like, I dislike this series so much I didn't even want Shinji to get in the robot. And I'm like, oh my god. Like, I'm not gonna slam on the new dub versus the old dub. So it feels like it was an unnecessary move. I'm not hating on any of the actors. Like, I haven't really listened to it much. I've heard some of the voice comparisons. Some I prefer the new voice to the old. Not many, but for the most part, I prefer the old voice. Uh, and I think that has more to do with like which one I heard first. But there are some things like, okay, this is a scene from Evangelion, and I'm sorry I'm spoiling it, but you had your chance to watch it a long time ago. Um, Shinji at one point is visiting Asuka in the hospital, pulls her shoulder because he's like having a manic attack, and he's like, wake up, pulls her shoulder. She spins over, her shirt comes undone, her titties are in full display, and horny teenager that he is, he wanks it over her comatose body and comes in his hand. So he's got a handful of baby batter sitting right there. And the line that is delivered in the original English dub is, I'm so fucked up, which is aptly appropriate because that's a really fucked up scene. Like, seriously fucked up. You don't actually see him, but you hear the breathing, and then you see the baby batter on his head. Or on his hand, right? And the line is, that's fucked up. In the new one, they went with the original Japanese of, I'm the lowest of the low, which doesn't have the same impact. And I can kind of understand, but I think that's more of a preference thing. But a lot of what's going on is, like, a lot of what people are bitching about, I understand why they're bitching about, because I remember watching the old school stuff. Evangelion was one of those early series that I got into, and listening to the commentary is what made me actually get interested in, you know, how shit goes in the actual in the animated series, you know, and how in the industry, how stuff gets made, you know, voice acting. I didn't really start thinking about that until after I saw this. And the cool thing is that these guys were actually fans because they were watching this shit back in the early to mid 90s when anime wasn't that prevalent. You got to realize that Evangelion came out just a little bit around the time that Dragon Ball Z was just getting popular. Like, this series was probably like the third anime I saw after Sailor Moon, and I went hardcore. I went from Sailor Moon to Akira to Princess Mononoke to Evangelion. Then I got introduced to Dragon Ball Z. It was quite an interesting jump and a ride through the anime world. And I'm like, wow, there's anime for freaking everything. And then I get introduced to other stuff like Vampire Hunter D and Ranma 1/2, and yeah, there was a lot of stuff. That was the way back in the day. Oh yeah, Evangelion is a 90s anime. Kind of like how Dragon Ball is actually an 80s manga. So, you know, there's that. Anyway, guys, that is the majority of what all I had to talk about today. Unless you guys have a lot to say, we'll probably be wrapping things up here. I'm kind of worried that my neighbors are going to have another fight, and that this time you guys might hear it. Really watched a lot of the Fate series. Here's the thing. Like I said, as there are just as many anime out there in different genres as there are movies. So if you like a particular genre of movie, I would suggest checking out that same genre of anime. There's a lot of really good shit out there that I think you would definitely find worth your while. Last but not least, oh crap, I should probably have done this as well. I will, no, because I said I didn't want to do that on anime and stuff. But, guys, we're gonna try and get, Lennon on more regularly on the channel for some of the streams, just so you can hear your Akatsuki, your great lady Akatsuki. Start hollering at her, tag her in the general chat, just so you guys can like actually talk and stuff. But one of the things, today's episode is being sponsored by helping Lennon get a plane ticket for Awa. Currently, she needs help with getting a plane ticket because all her money is wrapped up in the fact that she is headed to Germany in just in a little under 2 weeks, like 12 or 10 or 12 days from now. She's headed out to Germany. So, in order to get a plane ticket while it's still cheap to fly out to Atlanta for AWA, she needs your help, and the donation link, the link to that donation is in the description down below. Kick in her door, find her, release the hounds. I almost consumed that. No! So anyway, guys, that is the thing that I'm plugging right now because we want to help Eva get there, and we want to help if any of the rest of our crew needs help with like a flight or anything that we can help them out with financially. We're gonna try to, but most of the funds that we have to go towards our bridge projects. And once again, guys, if you want to know when episode 7 of Log Horizon Abridged is coming out, or what the hell Project Sand is, or when the next episode, or when episode 1 of Slime is dropping, if you're a patron, you already know. And if you want to know, become a patron. And the link to our Patreon is in the description down below. Thank you guys so much. Now that I've plugged all the things, I read things wrong the best. Well, I'm glad. One day I found anime and then I consumed it. Oh, goodness. Yes, that's good. Violent Evergarden. You consumed Violent Evergarden. I thought you were talking about Destiny 2 stuff. Hey, yeah, we did leak it on accident thanks to Calvin. But we're also really quick from hitting another goal on our Patreon of putting out our own original content, which is something that we could do very soon. And we need your support on that because one of the things in order to put out more some of the original content that we have planned is we need to hire artists, which means we're going to need more funds from Patreon so we can do that. But yeah, we will explain more about what our original content is and how much of it we have. And I might put some stuff up on the channel to show you just exactly what all is going down and what all it was. But yeah, that's it for us, guys. Thank you so much. I've had a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It was just kind of a quick recap of the week. Or at least the last two and a half weeks. We gonna need to have a talk about your loose lips. How dare you? No. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.